Multinationals are recovering their losses by increasing their production.
Where the ANV companies once fauna was larger.
Apparently, a new virus retarding toxicarisis.
We already had one.
Researchers have long warned that the destruction of the ecosystem
5 years ago, but apparently humanity didn't learn anything.
Today, it's commemorated that coronavirus cure was found 5 years ago.
Multinationals are recovering their losses by increasing their production quarterly and building more headquarters and factories like NAMC.
The world seems to be become crazy. The superfire from Mediterranean Europe are becoming more frequent and more uncontrollable.
Today in the country's capital, there are protests for wildlife, in which it is argued that currently around 20% of the world's species are in danger of disappearing.
A large increase in the red fox population has been seen in the city with not obvious justification.
Red foxes are being responsible for the decline of several species of native animals that are in a critical stage of extinction.
Hunting for this dangerous animal has been authorized as they have increasingly come closer to our house, parks, and schools.
Today the construction of the CMA company begins, in the place where the country's largest flora and fauna reserve was once found. CMA will donate 1% of their profits to plant trees. Aren't they generous?
Apparently, a new virus is retarding to attack humanity. It's called toxicarisis, and it is transmitted by red foxes. It is transmitted through the body fluids such as saliva, nasal fluids, etc.
More than 10 million people have died with this new virus, and the worst part is that the cure of this new virus has not yet been found.
Dose up your face mask and use them to avoid contagions. Because the sample number has increased at 35%, so the WHO has declared it a pandemic. Stay at home, please. Stay safe. Protect your country, protect your family, and most important, protect yourself.
Businesses, as always, won't work. Businesses, as always right now from pandemics, are waiting for them to emerge and waiting for a vaccine. That's not a good strategy. We have to deal with the underlying factors.
Humans finally play a decisive role in this pandemic. The destruction of natural habitats, the decrease of biodiversity, and the alteration of the ecosystem causes that the virus spread. Expert researchers have long warned that the destruction of ecosystem favors to the transmission of viruses from animals to people, thus causing pandemics to be more frequent. We already had one 5 years ago, but apparently humanity didn't learn anything.
Human beings have destroyed that 85% of wetlands and almost 75% of fresh water. Value for agriculture and livestock production, and if we add to this the unregulated hunting between a species of foxes has now infected more than 20 million.
Humans continue to penetrate the habitat of wild animals, cutting down forests to raise livestock and hunt. As a result, people are increasingly exposed to pathogens that generally would never leave those places. We get closer and closer to wild animals.
Countries must strengthen environmental regulations, adopt one health approach to decision making that reconnects the complex interconnection between the health of people, animals, plants, and our shared environment, and underpin health systems in the most vulnerable countries where resources are limited and insufficiently financed. This is not a simple altruism. It is a vital investment in everyone's interest to prevent future global outbreaks.
There is only one species responsible for the pandemic: us.
What we are experiencing is not a parenthesis of a few weeks. We will not go back to the street and everything will be the same. A new society is taking shape. We must analyze the situation and be aware that this environmental weakness made us more vulnerable.
As with biodiversity and climate crisis, these pandemics are just a direct consequence of human activity, particularly our global financial and economic system, based on a limit paradigm that will reward economic growth at any cost.
In conclusion, the way in which we are destroying the planet directly affects our health. So that toxicariasis is only the beginning of the multiple pandemics that can develop in the following years if we don't find a way to balance economic development and environmental sustainability.